Welcome everyone to our presentation on the 2022 street maintenance project locations that the Public Works Street Division will be doing this year. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. So we'll start off with introductions, then we'll talk about the overall Paid for Progress program, what contractors will do versus what city crews will do. We'll talk about the descriptions of the work, the impacts, and then show maps of the 2022 project areas. Hello, I'm Doug Wilson, the Paid for Progress Program Manager for the City of Cedar Rapids.
Hi, my name is Nick Curry. I'm a project coordinator with the city.
Hello, my name is Mike Duffy. I'm the Street Operations Manager. I'm here to talk a little bit about some of the projects that we will be doing under the Paving for Progress program in residential neighborhoods.
Hi, my name's Brian McLeod. I'm the lead maintenance street supervisor, and I am in charge of all the concrete construction with city services and Paving for Progress projects within the city.
So road construction, it's inconvenient, noisy, messy, but necessary. We'll do our best to make it as convenient as possible for you, working around your schedules and access to your homes, but there will be times when you won't be able to access your homes while the construction is going on. We will be able to let you know ahead of time when that's going to happen, but please be patient as we work through the projects. So what is Paid for Progress? Well, it's the local option sales tax that was approved by voters in November of 2013 and reapproved by voters in November of 2021 to fund street rehabilitation, reconstruction, and maintenance programs throughout the city. It's a strategic data-driven plan where we work on residential and main streets. We work on some streets for proactive preservation, which is why you'll see us working on streets that you may not think are that bad right now, but that's a less costly option than going complete rehabilitation or reconstruction. The goal of the program is to stop the deterioration of our roads. We're very fortunate to have this voter-approved funding source. It's a unique asset for our community, and of course, it's a way that we get people who drive on our streets that don't live in Linn County to help pay for it. So with Paid for Progress, we get an additional $18.5 million annually for street rehabilitation and reconstruction. Through 7 years, we've invested $116 million. In the 10 years prior to that, we sold bonds up to $55 million. So we have more than doubled our investment in just 7 years in our roadways. Another good thing about this is we're not selling bonds to do this work. We're paying as we go, so we don't incur debt. And we can make more permanent repairs versus temporary repairs, such as yearly pothole maintenance. This also helps us reduce the burden of maintenance on our streets crews so that they can do other work. This is a map showing the location of Paid for Progress projects throughout the city. The green are projects that have been completed so far, and the ones in orange are the ones that were being done in 2021. So contractors versus city crews. Because of state law contracts, we have to look at how much the bids are for each project. So big contracts are great at large scale projects, specialized work and multiple types of work in one project area, but city crews are better for small scale projects, more maintenance activities, smaller, shorter streets with cul-de-sacs and strict timelines. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mike Duffy.
Okay, thank you, Doug. My name is Mike Duffy. I'm the Street Operations Manager. I'm going to talk about some different types of projects that may occur in residential neighborhoods. The first is concrete patching. So this is where we come in and remove and replace damaged concrete panels. This would not include some of the minor cracks that you might see along a panel, but we do identify areas where we think that a minor crack may become a bigger problem, whether that pavement is undermined or if there's something going on underneath the pavement that maybe would indicate why the cracking is occurring. Our goal is really to extend the life of the roadway and get the most use out of the current roadway that's there. Some additional work that may be needed that does impact along a project would include adjustments to driveway aprons. That's the place where the driveway actually meets the roadway. Some spot curb repairs, so areas where a curb has been damaged or is missing, that we will go in and do those sort of spot curb repairs and replace those. Any sidewalk ramp replacements, so this would include any of the ADA ramps that would not be compliant. We will bring those up to compliance. Storm sewer intakes, so any location where the curb and gutter section meets a storm intake, we will then, if needed, repair and do those, make those repairs at that time. This work is performed by city crews and just part of our regular service to the community. Some typical impacts that may be of interest. So lane reductions are probably the most common. So one of the things that will happen is if we're doing one side of the pavement, we'll have to then close that side. We do maintain traffic through residential areas. In some instances, we may limit the direction of flow, but those lane reductions are really for keeping our crew safe and for allowing people within the residential areas to still travel those roadways. There also will be times that we'll have to do individual driveway closures. We do communicate those to the property owners so that they know when they are going to occur. And it's only where patches are needed really in front of a driveway or where a driveway taper or a section of a driveway is being reconstructed. The average closure time for a project can be up to 2 weeks. We do try and open up those driveway areas, though much shorter than that. And we do ask that you utilize nearby on-street parking during those times. One thing that's very important on a project is watch for the temporary road closure signs or the no parking signs. And so this allows us, we come in and we'll actually place a no parking sign in an area that we're going to need to have equipment or we'll be removing pavement. And so we ask that you not park in those areas when those signs indicate not to. A typical project when we do both sides on a concrete pavement is 1 month for most projects. Sometimes we'll get into a 2-month project on some of these bigger roadways, but generally it's about a month and we're in and out of a project. Common concerns. Service impacts. We're often asked if there's going to be no water or sewage during the time of construction. We make all efforts to, unless there's a specific location that's being worked on, and that'd be the only time that there'd be a water or sewage outage. There are none anticipated on these projects. Mail delivery is normal. There may be a situation where we have to remove a mailbox. We do temporarily set those adjacent to the location where the mailbox is. That generally occurs with any curb or driveway reconstruction that we have to do at the time of construction, and those are coordinated with the property owners. Waste bins need to be placed at the edge of the property on normal collection days. If construction blocks a garbage truck, the crews are responsible for getting the bins to where they belong in order to be picked up. Another type of project that we do is a patch and overlay. So we repair any damaged concrete panels that will be overlaid with asphalt. And that goal is to give that new asphalt a sound foundation, really to get the most life out of that pavement that we're putting on. We install a new layer of asphalt for the whole street. And that is actually, when we're doing that, we're saying that that base, that concrete base, actually provides a good surface for that asphalt pavement to adhere to. And we think that we can get a number of years out of that. And that asphalt then prolongs that life and it provides a really good driving surface for a long period of time. So some of the additional work, is adjusting the driveway apron. So when we do an asphalt overlay, we are raising the elevation slightly of that pavement. So the transition between driveways and aprons, in many cases, improves the flow into a driveway. In some situations, we will have to adjust those driveway aprons. We are doing spot curb repairs in many of these locations, so that gives us a good edge to our asphalt pavement, and it allows for drainage then to flow along that curb line. We do the sidewalk ramp replacement, so any ADA work that we have to do at sideway ramps, we would do that at the time that we're doing construction, and we do adjustments at the storm sewer intakes. And again, the city forces will be providing this service. Some of the typical impacts for these type of projects, again, are lane reductions for patching. So that's primarily the concrete work. When we do an asphalt overlay on a street like this, it will be closed during the time that we are placing the asphalt. This allows for that material to cool, and we will coordinate with property owners at this time to let you know when we are going to be doing those asphalt overlay projects. Individual driveways could be closed during this time period. Again, we will provide some advanced warning when we're going to be doing this type of work. Only where patches are needed in front of driveways, but when we do the overlay work, there will be sections of that roadway that will have new asphalt on them that will not be able to be driven on. Average closure for the entire project will be up to 2 weeks. At the time that we're doing the asphalt work, we have the project closed for generally about 2 days. Utilize nearby on-street parking when possible. Watch for temporary no parking signs. So when we do come in with the equipment and we are doing the work, we ask that you not park on the areas that are impacted by the project. Full closures for asphalt paving are generally, like I had mentioned, relatively short. So we come in, we do the work. Once the asphalt cools, we get traffic onto that pavement right away. Most of the projects from start to finish take from 1 to 2 months to complete. Common concerns. Service impacts. We're often asked if there's going to be no water or sewage during the time of construction. We make all efforts to, unless there's a specific location that's being worked on, and that'd be the only time that there'd be a water or sewage outage. There are none anticipated on these projects. Mail delivery is normal. There may be a situation where we have to remove a mailbox. We do temporarily set those adjacent to the location where the mailbox is. That generally occurs with any curb or driveway reconstruction that we have to do at the time of construction, and those are coordinated with the property owners. Waste bins need to be placed at the edge of the property on normal collection days. If construction blocks a garbage truck, the crews are responsible for getting the bins to where they belong in order to be picked up. Asphalt overlay projects. So this is an area where we come in, we clean and prepare the existing roadway surface, and we install a new layer of asphalt. This work is provided or performed by city crews. On asphalt overlay projects, some of the typical impacts are a full closure during pavement. So while the pavement is being placed, that asphalt is being laid on the roadway surface. It needs to cool, and we do not allow traffic to drive on it. It usually takes a day to have that cooling take place, and then access is reestablished for the evening. It works well if you're away from the home during that day. If you do need to get your car out of the driveway, you do that before the project starts. Otherwise, access will be limited till the evening. This is a short-term construction. It starts and ends in a single day for the asphalt overlays. Common concerns. Service impacts. We're often asked if there's going to be no water or sewage during the time of construction. We make all efforts to, unless there's a specific location that's being worked on, and that'd be the only time that there'd be a water or sewage outage. There are none anticipated on these projects. Mail delivery is normal. There may be a situation where we have to remove a mailbox. We do temporarily set those adjacent to the location where the mailbox is. That generally occurs with any curb or driveway reconstruction that we have to do at the time of construction, and those are coordinated with the property owners. Waste bins need to be placed at the edge of the property on normal collection days. If construction blocks a garbage truck, the crews are responsible for getting the bins to where they belong in order to be picked up. Asphalt mill and overlay projects. These are projects where we actually come in and we mill off the existing asphalt surface. We will then make some repairs to the concrete base, and then we will reapply that asphalt surface to the pavement. So that involves us, like I mentioned, grounding off that top layer of existing asphalt. There will be some noise involved in that. I mean, it is grinding that off of the existing pavement. Some curb replacements for a couple projects in particular, that being 6th Avenue Southeast, 40th Street Drive Southeast, B Avenue Northwest, Janice Drive Northwest. We will then place a new asphalt layer, and that will complete the project. Some of the additional work required on these projects are some adjustments that asphalt or driveway aprons. This tends to be pretty minimal on these type of projects because that asphalt layer that's going back is generally the same thickness as the asphalt layer that was there before. So really we're sort of removing what was there, putting the same surface back. If there is issues with the driveway apron, whether there's an undermine at the curb and gutter section, there may be some adjustment that is required. We will coordinate that with individual property owners. Any sidewalk ramp replacement to bring those into ADA compliance will be done at the time of the project, generally before the asphalt is laid. Any storm sewer intake, any adjustments that we need to make at that time will be made prior to any asphalt work. Curb and asphalt milling is done by a contractor, and so it will not be city forces, and they're doing the actual grinding in most cases. And then after that is completed, the asphalt crew will come in and do the work, and that is city forces. Some typical impacts: lane and driveway closures during curb work. So any of the work that's being done that is specific to the concrete work or the base, there will be some closures during that time. Those are generally very specific because this is more spot work. At the time of the asphalt work, there will be project closures that will impact the entire street. Those again will be allowed access back at the evening. So once that asphalt material is a time to cool, property owners will regain access to their driveways and properties. Access to business and schools are maintained during this time period. We do provide some temporary locations where you can gain access to those facilities. And then watch for temporary no parking signs during this project. That's very important for us to have the vehicles removed so that we can do our work. Again, this type of work takes approximately 2 weeks, and it's often done in stages. So you'll see some start and stop between the different phases of this work. When the grinding occurs, when the concrete work occurs, and then when the asphalt work is completed. Common concerns. Service impacts. We're often asked if there's going to be no water or sewage during the time of construction. We make all efforts to, unless there's a specific location that's being worked on, and that'd be the only time that there'd be a water or sewage outage. There are none anticipated on these projects. Mail delivery is normal. There may be a situation where we have to remove a mailbox. We do temporarily set those adjacent to the location where the mailbox is. That generally occurs with any curb or driveway reconstruction that we have to do at the time of construction, and those are coordinated with the property owners. Waste bins need to be placed at the edge of the property on normal collection days. If construction blocks a garbage truck, the crews are responsible for getting the bins to where they belong in order to be picked up.
Thanks, Mike and Doug. Hi, this is Nick Correa. I'm a project coordinator with the city. I'm going to talk through some of the project areas today. If you take a look down in the video description, try to find your street location and a timestamp for that. We've got a whole bunch of different areas here, so to save you some time, if you want to just jump straight to your street, that'll help you out, but you are, of course, welcome to watch videos for the other areas, and there will be contact information to follow. So let's go ahead and get started. 2nd Street Southwest is going to be a mill and overlay location, so it's a fairly long stretch for our street crews to do, but we're going to divide it and have it diagonal because the pavement in Diagonal Drive is relatively new and doesn't need to be fixed up, but the asphalt on either side does need to be. So contractors are going to come in and they're going to scrape off the top layer of asphalt, and city crews will come and follow by putting down a new layer of asphalt. When they pull back the existing asphalt, they may find some patching. So depending on how good or bad it is below the pavement surface, they might have to do a little bit of extra work to get everything in good shape before they put on the new layer of asphalt. But to get that done, they will be using a full closure, and fortunately most of the parking lots and driveways in this area have an alternate access that does not depend on 2nd Street Southwest. But if you anticipate any problems, do go ahead and let us know through email or phone or any of the contact information we provided. We believe that we can probably get this project done within about 1 month for both sides of Diagonal Drive. But if you have any questions, go ahead and let us know. The 6th Avenue Southeast project is going to consist of curb repair, mill, and overlay. So both sides of the streets are going to have its curb replaced. That'll take a couple of weeks, depending on how the contractor wants to do it. They may do one side and then the other, or they may close half the street and then do the other. So we'll have some more details for you as soon as we know who the contractor is going to be and when they're going to start. Look for some door hangers and a letter from Streets, and they'll explain a little bit more about how they plan to do it. So the closures could be a little bit fluid on the curb side of things, but for the pavement portion, a contractor will come in with a machine to grind off the top layer of the pavement, and city crews will follow afterwards to put down a new layer of asphalt. Once they pull back that asphalt, they may need to do some patching underneath to make sure everything is in good condition before they do the final layer of asphalt. But all told, expect the work between the curb and the asphalt work to take about 2 months. That won't be a solid 2 months. It'll be, since there's multiple crews, it'll there might be a week or two delay in between each portion. But if you have any questions, go ahead and give us a call or email through some of the contact information provided previously. This year on 21st Avenue, 22nd Avenue, and Westdale Drive, we're going to be doing a combination of concrete patching and patch and overlay. Patching for 21st and 22nd, and then the addition of a final layer of asphalt onto Westdale Drive. The work in this area will be broken up into sections, so the whole area won't be closed at once. We'll probably do one street at a time, and some of these locations will be one of the first ones that we do. So keep an eye out for some information from Streets. They may put out door hangers or post some letters at apartment entrances to try and let you know about what's going on. If you are somebody who tends to park on the street, keep an eye out for no parking signs. Make sure vehicles are out of the way so that we can get the road paving underway. Please expect lane closures for patching. We won't have to close down the street totally for the concrete portion, but you may have to get around some localized closures to be able to do that. We will make sure that access to large parking lots is maintained. If there is work that needs to be done in front of your driveway, we will do our very best to work on it half at a time or make it so that you don't have to get punted out to the street while we do that. But when driveway work is done, that takes about 2 weeks or so to finish. For the asphalt portion on Westdale Drive, please do expect a full closure. Those will be daytime closures. It will just take the city crews some time to put down the new layer of asphalt and for that to cool, but by evening you should be able to get in. So again, look for that letter and door hanger with start date information. And on those paving days, if you can try to plan to be out the door and out in town at work or doing what you need to do during the day, and we'll make sure that you can get back in by evening. All told, all of the locations will probably combine to total several months of work, but again, we'll only be doing that in phases and portions, so we won't be sending a wrench in the whole area. But if you have any questions, go ahead and give us a call, email, contact us through any of the information provided earlier. On 29th Avenue Southwest this year, we're going to be working just east of Edgewood Road Southwest. We're going to be doing some concrete patching in that area, some pretty extensive work, and due to the relatively high amount of traffic for that street, we are going to do a full closure. There'll be a hard closure at Edgewood Road and Chapel Drive Southwest, and our crews will work with the folks who have driveways frontaging that area to see if we can get you a little bit closer while work is underway. But do plan on that being closed for approximately a month. The full closure will help that move a bit faster, but by the end it'll be looking real nice. So if you have any questions, give us a call or email or contact us through some of the means provided, and we'd be happy to help you out. We're going to be doing some work on 29th Street Southwest and Primrose Lane Southwest in the areas you see on the map there. Those areas will both be the beneficiaries of some concrete patching. While that work is underway, please expect some lane reductions. We won't have to close the street all the way to be able to make that happen, but might have to do some weaving around some cones while crews are doing their work. They will break up the work probably between the two areas so the whole section isn't bogged down in construction, but between the two streets, it'll take approximately 1 to 2 months to get that finished, depending on weather and what they got going on elsewhere throughout the city. Driveway closures are possible during construction, and if that's the case, please be patient with us. We will get you back into your driveway as soon as possible. You can use on-street parking while that's underway. Most often we can get those driveways finished within about 2 weeks, but in the height of summer when it's hot, usually we can get you in there sooner. So be on the lookout for some door hangers and a letter from Streets Division giving you some more specific information about the start date for that project area. If you had already received a letter about your sanitary sewer service, we have a contractor who will be coming in earlier in the spring to get those taken care of, and then the paving patching portion will come later in the year. But if you have any questions about this work, give us a call or email in the contact information provided earlier, and we'd be happy to help you out. In 2022, we'll be working on 30th Street Drive southeast from Indian Creek to Carroll Drive there. We're happy to finally be coming back around to this spot. I know we had originally planned to do this location about a couple years earlier, but we ran into some sanitary sewer services that needed to be replaced. And there is one left that will get done this spring. And if you will have already received a letter if that needs to be used. So if you haven't, or you've already taken care of it, you should be good to go. This project will be a patch and overlay location. So during the concrete patching portion, please expect some lane closures. You might have to drive around some crews, but the street will not be closed for that portion. To finish things up, however, they will do an asphalt overlay, which will require a full closure. But usually those are just during the day. So we'll have door hangers out that lets you know when the paving will start, and most in particular when the asphalt is going to be done, so that you can know to be out and about and to work and what you need to do. And by evening, that asphalt should be cool enough for you to drive on again. During the patching portion, if there are some patches needed in front of your driveway, you may need to park on the street for a week or two while that gets fixed and cures. With normal weather, usually we can have you back into your driveway within about 2 weeks. In the height of summer, usually shorter. But know that that might be a possibility. Overall, once the work starts, we believe it should be finished with about 1 month. The sewer services will be done separate from the road work. So when that's happening, there'll probably be at least a couple weeks or a month or so of lag time between the sewer service and the pavement portion. But paving should take about 1 month. So if you have any questions, give us a call or send us an email. We'd be happy to talk to you. On 40th Street Drive Southeast this year, we're going to be doing some curb work, concrete patching, and asphalt overlay in the area indicated there. It's kind of two different pavement types in that section, as I'm sure you're familiar. In the current asphalt section, we're going to be replacing the curb there, and then come through later on with a milling machine to grind off the top layer of that existing asphalt, and then put down a new layer of asphalt to follow. In the eastern section, which is currently concrete, we will be doing concrete patching, and we'll do some asphalt overlay at the same time as that western portion. So the whole section there on that map will become asphalt. During the curb replacement and concrete patching, please expect some lane reductions. You'll be able to get through, but might have to do some slowing down and get around some cones while the workers are present. When the asphalt milling and overlay is underway, however, that will require a full closure. So we'll put out some door hangers and put some notifications out to let you know when that will be, particularly if you're right up against that project area. And for the asphalt portion, you won't be able to get in and out during the daytime, but the asphalt will be cool enough by evening that you can get back in at the end of the day. And during that first portion, when the asphalt is being milled, once the crews are clear, that is drivable. Just make sure that you go nice and slow, but that should be safe to get through if you need to. Overall, the work should take about 2 months between the curb work and the asphalt and the concrete. And during the times when you can't really get through, especially for the asphalt portions, we would recommend detouring to Glenbrook so that you can get in and out. But if you have any questions or have any potential concerns, send us an email, give us a phone call, and we'll be able to help you out. On 51st Street Northeast this year, we are going to be doing some concrete patching from Center Point Road up to the newer concrete near McGrath Auto there. Please expect some lane closures while that concrete patching is underway. The road won't have to close, but you might have to get around some of the crews while they do their work. We will make sure that access to businesses are maintained, especially if you have an alternate driveway. We'll make sure that at least one of those is available, but if you only have the one entrance, we'll do at most half of the time so that you can get in and out. And again, that's only if patching is actually needed in front of your driveway. If the concrete is in basically good condition, you should be good to go. From start to finish, work should take approximately 1 month. Keep an eye out from a message from the Streets Division. Folks will either come into your building or put out a door hanger, depending on the context of your building, to let you know when that work will be starting. If you have any questions, give us a call or send us an email, and we'd be happy to help you out. We've got a nice project for you on B Avenue Northwest this year. We're going to be doing some curb work, mill, and overlay throughout about a 2-month period. Contractor will come in first to do the curb portion. During this time, please expect lane closures. It'll be up to the contractor a little bit as to how they go about it, but we'll send out some additional information and door hangers closer to the start of construction to let you know about how they plan to do that and when they plan to start. But after the curb work is done, another contractor will come in to do asphalt milling. So they'll grind away the top layer of asphalt there and prepare it for a new layer of asphalt. While they have that exposed, they may do some patching underneath just to make sure the new asphalt has a good foundation. But towards the end of the project, city crews will come in with their machines and put down a nice new layer of asphalt and have the street looking pretty good by the end of the year. There will be a full closure needed for that asphalt portion. For the grinding, they'll probably keep it closed just to keep traffic off there as much as possible. If you do have a driveway that frontages that area, we'll see what we can do to help you out and make sure you can get in and out. It is possible to drive on that milled surface, but you might just want to take it slow just for the sake of the road and for your car. But once the asphalt is put in place, access should be regained pretty quickly after that. Access to alleys to the north and south, of course, will not be interrupted, so most of the houses in that area can still get in and out as normally. Start to finish, the work will take approximately 2 months for the paving portion. You will see a contractor out there in spring to do the sewer services for that area. And if that needs to be done for your house, you will have already received a letter. But if you have any concerns, let us know. But that sewer service work is not connected to the pavement portion. So once that curb work starts in earnest, that's going to be the start of your 2-month period. Again, look for door hangers and a letter from Streets Division, which will give you more information and contact information for that contractor who is ultimately hired for the curb and milling work. And if you have any questions, give us a call, send us an email. Happy to help you out. On Broderick Drive Northeast, we're going to be doing some concrete patching this year, west of C Avenue Northeast. While that is underway, please expect some lane reductions. We won't have to close the road, but you'll have to get around crews while they're doing their work. Driveway closures will be possible if there is some cracked concrete in front of your driveway. A partial or full closure may be necessary. If that is the case, please do make use of nearby on-street parking while it's being fixed. With normal weather, normally you can be back in your driveway within about 2 weeks. And if it's during the height of summer, sometimes even sooner than that. But overall, the whole street will take approximately 1 month. Again, look for those door hangers with start date information and a letter with further details. If you have any questions, give us a call or send us an email, and we'd be happy to help you out. On C Avenue Northeast, we're going to be doing some concrete patching this year between 24th Street and 27th Street. Before that starts, though, we will be doing some sewer service replacement in the spring. If that's necessary for your house, you will have already received a letter letting you know about that. So the work that is going to be done for the sewer services will be done by a contractor, and that will be separate from the work done by city crews, which will happen later in the year. When we do get concrete patching underway, please expect lane closures during that time. The street will not fully close. You'll be able to get through, but it might get a little bit tight. So do what you can to help keep our workers safe while they fix the street. It may become necessary if the concrete in front of your driveway is badly cracked to partially or fully close your driveway to get that fixed. I know there's not a whole lot of space in that street for on-street parking, so we'll try to make sure that there's some space for you to get in and park so you don't have to walk too far to get back home. But when that is the case, or if that is the case, usually we can have you back in your driveway within about 2 weeks. School access will be maintained during the project. And overall, it should take approximately 1 month for the work to get done. If you have any questions, give us a call or send us an email, and we'd be happy to help you out. On Glen Elm Drive Northeast, we're going to be doing some concrete patching this year between 42nd and Winnig Road. While that's happening, please expect lane reductions. The street won't ever have to really fully close, but we'll need to give our workers some space to get the work done there. So help us keep them safe. Depending on the quality of the concrete in front of your driveway, driveway closure may become necessary to get that concrete fixed. If that's the case, please make use of nearby on-street parking. And with normal weather, we can typically have you back in your driveway within about 2 weeks. Overall, we expect the project to take between 1 and 2 months, since it's a pretty good stretch of street. Of course, that is heavily dependent on weather, but if you have any questions or concerns, give us a call or send us an email, and we'd be happy to help you out. On Greentree Court Northwest and Hidden Hollow Lane Northwest, we're going to be doing some concrete patching this year, but to start the year, there will be a contractor hired by the city to come in and do some sanitary sewer service replacements. If you are a house that needs to have that done, you will have already received a separate correspondence from us about that, but we'll have that done before we start on just the general concrete patching, which will take place later in the year. And while that's underway, please expect lane reductions, give our crew some space to be able to do their work and keep them safe. And if there is concrete that needs to be done in front of your driveway, a partial or full driveway closure may become necessary to make sure that that's patched up. If that's the case, please make use of nearby on-street parking. With normal weather, we can usually have you back in your driveway within about 2 weeks' time. That varies a little bit. But overall, between the two locations, which we'll split it up so it's not the whole section worked on at the same time. We'll break it into pieces to try to minimize overall disruption. But from start to finish for the two streets will probably be about 1 to 2 months, depending on weather, temperature, rainfall, etc. So keep an eye out for door hangers and notification from the streets department with more specific information about start dates. And if you have any questions, give us a call or send us an email. On Janice Drive Northwest, we're going to be doing some curb and asphalt work this year between Dennis Drive and the area that was recently finished. on Johnson Avenue Northwest. A contractor will first arrive in the spring. There's a couple of sanitary sewer surfaces on that street that need to be switched out before we start the pavement work. If you are one of the houses that needs to have that done, you will have already received a notification in a separate mailing to let you know what's going on there. But after that, a separate contractor will come in to start the curb work. Depending on how the contractor decides to do that, they may do one half at a time or close pieces of the street at one time to get that done. That part will be up to them, but we'll communicate how they plan to do that in separate correspondence closer to construction start, as well as a more specific start date. So keep an eye out for a door hanger, which will have that information for you. Once the asphalt portion is underway, asphalt grinding crew will come through and scrape off the top layer of the existing asphalt, maybe make some repairs to the foundation as necessary, and city crews will follow pretty closely to get the new layer of asphalt down on the street. While that is underway, it will require a full closure for the work, but fortunately, mostly that only requires closures during the day. Usually we'll be able to get you back into your driveway by the evening. When that asphalt is exposed, it is safe to drive on. Maybe just take it a little bit more slowly than you normally would, just to help protect the street and your car. But you can get through there. When the new asphalt layer comes down during the day, it really does have to be closed because it's going to be too hot, but it'll be cool enough by evening that you can get back in. Overall, for the curb and pavement work from start to finish, it'll probably take about 2 months or so. But again, keep an eye out for future correspondence. And if you have any questions, give us a call or send us an email. On Josephine Lane Northwest between Dennis Drive and the recently finished Johnson Avenue Northwest, we'll be doing some mill and overlay work this year. Contractor will come in with a milling machine to grind off the top layer of the existing asphalt. Some crews may do some patching with the exposed asphalt if there's any problems they see once that's opened up. But the city crews will follow with their own paving machine to put a new layer of asphalt over the top. While that work is being done, both for the milling and the overlay, it will require a full closure. However, that will be during the daytime, so in most cases we'll have you back in with access to driveways by the evening. That milled surface is safe to drive on. Just take it a little bit slower for the sake of the road and for your car. When that new asphalt goes in, that is pretty hot, so you will need to stay off of that for at least a couple hours, but again, by evening you should be able to get back in. Overall, from start to finish, we expect that work to take between 2 weeks and a month, depending on how weather plays out and what problems, if any, they find when they peel back that top layer. So look for door hangers with specific start dates and future correspondence with more information on how that project will impact you. If you have any questions, go ahead, give us a call or send us an email. On Prairie Drive Northeast, we're going to be doing some work this year between Eastern Avenue and G Avenue Northeast. We'll be doing some concrete patching for that section. While that work is underway, please expect some lane reductions. We won't have to close the road fully, but you'll need to slow down and get around the crews as they're doing the work. Be cautious of oncoming traffic because that area does get a fair amount of volume. It is possible if the concrete in front of your driveway is in poor condition that we may need to close the driveway partially or fully for about 1 to 2 weeks to get that fixed. If that's the case, please make use of nearby on-street parking, but we'll get you back in as soon as possible. Keep an eye out for door hangers and other correspondence from Streets Division, which will give you more information about the specific start date and further impacts to the property. Overall, we expect the project to take approximately 1 month with normal weather. On Sanden Road, east of Milburn Road, we'll be doing an asphalt overlay this year. That will require a full closure. However, that'll just be a daytime closure. After the asphalt is cooled enough, you'll be able to get back in, but keep an eye out for a door hanger, which will have a specific start date on it, as well as a letter with more information about how the project will impact you. From start to finish, that will probably take about 2 weeks in advance of putting down the asphalt. They'll do some cleaning and some surface preparation. But at the end, you should have a nice looking road. So if you have any questions, give us a call or send us an email. We'd be happy to help you out. On Sally Drive Northeast, we'll be doing some concrete patching this year. While that's underway, please expect lane reductions. Fortunately, we won't have to close the road fully, but please give our crews plenty of space to do their work safely. If it so happens that there's some concrete in front of your driveway that needs to be replaced, we may need to do a partial or full closure of your driveway long enough to get that fixed up. If that's the case, please make use of nearby on-street parking until we can get you back in. With normal weather, we can usually have you back in your driveway within about 2 weeks. Overall, the whole project, since it's a pretty good section of street, will take between 1 or 2 months, again, very much dependent on weather. Look for some door hangers and future correspondence from the Streets Division with further information on a specific start date and impacts to your property. But if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or send us an email.